Hi everybody, this is Donna from Purple Pinky Promises. Welcome! We have a beautiful little fall card ready for you today. And I'm just going to dive right on in. So I first showed you 4 pieces of cardstock that were cut down from an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock down to 4 1/4 by 5.5. And I am loading up all of these dies onto those pieces. I'm using the Lacy Circles die from Waffle Flower, the Stitch Diamond Panel die from Waffle Flower, and the Triple Line Diamond Panel die. I'm also using the Sunny Studios Pumpkin Patch dies and the Autumn Greenery dies. And everything will be posted in the link, the description. The links will be posted in the description of this video. All right, now we're starting to ink up a background. And we are using Catherine Pooler inks. The first ink we're going to start with is Sangria, excuse me. And on this leaf, on all the leaves, I decided that I wanted the outer edges to be dark and the inside to be lighter. And I kind of tend to do that, just to add a little two-tone shading to give it a little bit of depth. The second color we're using here is Daydream. And I just have to tell you, I love how these two colors blend together. They just blend together beautifully. And the blend in between is this really beautiful purple. Okay, next up, we're going to color a leaf in the same color with the same process that I used on the first one, dark around the edges and lighter in the middle. Now we will be featuring a technique in this that I'm going to demo separately on a separate piece, and you'll see that later. But what we're going to create are these little elements to go around a wreath. And I believe it's a Spirelli. I don't know how to pronounce it. I should have. Spirelli. We're doing a Spirelli leaf, Spirelli, whatever you say, you get it. Okay, so now we're using some Mandarin Spice. Really pretty, rich autumn colors we're using here. They're absolutely gorgeous. On this one, I'm just getting just the light touch of Mandarin Spice. Now, I want to say that on this pumpkin here, I wished I had gone dark on the base of the pumpkin and light on that highlight piece. But when I added that Daydream ink to the stem, I absolutely loved it. You got a little green going in there because it just connected with that yellow tone in that orange. And so it gave it a green hue, and I just absolutely loved it. So I decided to go around the edges to give it more of a natural look. But honestly, folks, I would have liked it better, I think, if I had created that to be darker in the background and lighter in that forefront part of the pumpkin. And now here we go with this yummy Sauna. Honestly, guys, this color is so buttery rich. It is so beautiful for fall. Absolutely gorgeous for fall. I love it. And then the last color that we're using here is the Whipped Honey. This is a newer color from Catherine Pooler Designs, and it is a light hue. But I still like it because I decided that I would make it look a little more fall by adding some of that sandcastle around the edges, and it did it. It did the trick. So pretty. So on those last 2 leaves, I just went darker at the tip and lighter at the base. But on this one, I'm going to go all the way around the edge with that sandcastle to give it some dimension and depth and interest. It's so pretty. Looks like a real fall leaf. And then I decided, let's add some of that to the orange. How pretty would that be? So I did add a little bit of that sandcastle to the orange leaf. I wanted it to have a little bit of contrast from the pumpkin, so I thought that added some nice contrast. And now we're going to ink up that acorn, which I gave it a little more color on the right, a little less color on the left, darker for the top of the acorn. And now we have what I call curly cues, twirly whirlies. And those are going to go on the pumpkin. And now we have the background for our main event. And I'm going to tell you, here we have up, oh, I forgot to finish inking up my background. And this is kind of hilarious because I had intended not to have to clean up that ink every time and just follow along the same colors that I was coloring the leaves with my background, and I forgot all about it. I got so excited about those leaves and I left this background in the dust. So I had to come back in here and add some colors. So the first one was Whipped Honey. This one is Sauna. And we're going to finish this out with some Mandarin Spice. So I did not actually, I filmed the making of the, I'm going to call it a Spirelli wreath. I filmed it and then I took it out because I didn't feel like it was very nice and easy to watch. So I redid it right here. And you can see there on the left, I finished it. I learned something while I was doing this wreath. It's much easier if you lay down double-sided tape all the way around the edge of this so that your twine can catch on the double-sided tape and lay down. Otherwise, I had some difficulty keeping my twine in between those scallops. So as you can see right here, I start in between the scallop. Now, I make the decision to go further over there, okay, because I don't want it to show in the middle. I want it to stay on top of the actual wreath. So what you do here is you start at the top, you keep going to the right. At the top, you're going to go to the right. At the bottom, you're going to go to the left. So you're just going to keep moving in the same direction. Top part, you go to the right. The bottom, you go to the left. And as you can see here, at one point, you just kind of see where you went last time. You're going to go to the next one. You start creating this cross. You see the cross there? You're going to make an X, crisscross. And so you go to the next one to create the next X. And you just keep going. You keep going around until you actually end up at the place that you started. And I'm giving it a squeeze there to kind of get to attach it to the double-sided tape. So this is the same process all the way around. Next one to the right at the top and next one to the left at the bottom. And it's so much easier when you use that double-sided tape. I didn't have any trouble at all. As you can see here, I'm letting you see the whole thing. Much, much easier with double-sided tape. And as you can see, I hold my thumb in the middle and I hold the other part, the fingertips at the top, so I don't touch that double-sided tape. Otherwise, it's very sticky. You'll keep pulling it off of your project if you do. So, yeah, see, I'm showing you there. Hold it like that. Pressing it onto the double-sided tape, holds it down. And I'm looking, where was I? Oh yeah, there it was. So you just have to remember, make your X's, start making your X's. And now you're creating your X's down below. As you can see, you're doing double time. You're doing double time on your X's now. So it's just the next one over, making sure that you see where you were last time, this time, and now we're done. We created our Spirelli, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to put some more double-sided tape all around this wreath. I'm going to catch it to hold it in place. And then I'm showing you here, make sure you take your good glue and go all the way around all of these points that are going to touch where the X's or where they go into the groove. Make sure you get glue in there on each piece so that it holds and stays in place and it will stay nice and snug on your card front. And the recipient doesn't have a piece of twine hanging off of it. All right, now it's time for placement. And the tape that I used is the Scrapbook adhesive, the big roll of Scrapbook adhesive. It's a thinner double-sided foam adhesive. And I'll make sure that it's posted in the link. So I used the thinner double-sided adhesive. I did have to layer it up in some places. And others, I lay it flat down. So I'm giving you a close-up to show you basically what I'm doing here. I end up putting a double piece of foam adhesive to the left on this leaf that I'm laying down. I end up deciding it needed it. So next, our pumpkin. We'll put some foam adhesive behind, double-sided foam adhesive on the back of that. 2 layers. It's off screen and I apologize that it is. And you need to get some glue on there so we can get that down. Pull that adhesive off and get it stuck down. Now I wanted to show you that on my little twirly whirlies there at the top of the pumpkin, they both look very similar to one another. They're opposite of each other, but I took the long end and glued it to the stem on one side and the shorter end on the other to the left there. I glued it to the stem. So it would give it a different look on each side. And now we're just going to layer these leaves in here. I'm just going to tuck them in, stick that glue down. I decided it was too much yellow on one side. I wanted to mix it up a little bit better. So I switched those out. I did want it to go higher on the right than it was on the left. So I worked it until I kind of got it to the place that I was happy. So here we go. We're just going to pop this in. And I want to say something about this Sangria. I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and my favorite color from Stampin' Up! Was Blackberry Bliss. Ugh, the yummiest color on the planet, and it's hard to find that color in cardstock. So this Sangria has alleviated all of my Blackberry Bliss troubles. I can ink up my paper. I can stamp with it. I can make my, I can take my white seam binding and dye my white seam binding to match it. It's made me happy, 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 happy. I love Sangria. My favorite ink color. It's number 1. And I love the bright colors, yet this card screams fall. And because we're kind of in that transition of the bright, fun colors of summer and into the more subtle hues of fall. And I thought, what a perfect way to celebrate a transition from summer to fall. And I chose a sentiment, and it is from the Honeybee stamps. It is the, let me look here. I've got it right here next to me here. It's called Tag Your It. It's the Celebrations. And I decided to choose the sentiment Celebrate, because at any point I could change this card into anything I wanted it to be. I could change it into a birthday card. I could change it into a retirement card. I could do anything that I want with it. On the inside, I can create whatever it is that I want. Now that sentiment did go 4 layers deep on that thinner double-sided adhesive. And now we're just slapping on some beautiful orange and sangria, purple, and some bluish green sequins from Transylvania and Santa Fe, the Catherine Pooler Design sequin mixes. And I just think this rounds out this card perfectly. I forgot to tell you that twine on the wreath is natural twine. And it is in the store. We wrap it up here personally here at Purple Pinky Promises, all of our twine except for the Lawn Fawn twine. We don't carry any other brand but Lawn Fawn in ours. So there it is. And I accidentally scooted that sequin underneath the wreath, but you'll catch that final picture. You'll see I dug it back out, put it back in its place. And we're going to lay this card down on a card front and call it done. Oh, these colors just make me smile. They make me happy. They make me yearn for fall. Cooler temperatures for sure. And who doesn't yearn for cooler temperatures after the summer everybody's had? All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me here. We certainly appreciate all the support you give us here at Purple Pinky Promises. Take care. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.